What up, world? It's the one and only college football fanatic. We had a great week 2. I was up in Columbus, Ohio. As you can see, yes, I was at the game where they played Rutgers. Straight up beat down on Rutgers University. Dwayne Haskins looks like the real deal. Able to get out the pocket, make plays happen, and he can stand in the pocket, and he's able to throw the ball deep down the field with great accuracy. Ohio State looks like a team to be reckoned with. We'll get into the game later on where they go to Jerry's World in Arlington, Texas to play TCU. But great game between Clemson and A&M. Clemson holds on for the win. Big win for them, but also give A&M a lot of credit. They fought hard to the very end, and you must believe in Jimbo Fisher and what he is trying to accomplish at Texas A&M. I believe he's going to have them up and running and to be a force to be reckoned with also later on as he's the head coach of Texas A&M. Week 3 is here, and we got a game going on right now between Campbell and Coastal Carolina due to Hurricane Florence. And Hurricane Florence is causing chaos along the coastal Carolinas. A lot of games being canceled. One big game for sure is West Virginia against North Carolina State. UCF was going up to play North Carolina. Virginia Tech had a game. There's another game that was being moved to Tennessee and Nashville. So there's a lot of cancellations being done, and understandably so. You know, the safety of people comes first and foremost above everything. So, you know, we pray that this storm that is headed their way doesn't cause catastrophic damage. We pray. I was part of Katrina, you know, and I could feel what they're about to go through, and I prayed, you know, everything turns out all right for all those families along the East Coast and the Carolina areas. But with that being said, let's get into the games that are going to be played. You know, I start off with the local teams first because I am a Louisiana citizen. Tulane will go up to UAB. UAB was a big surprise last year. Caught people off guard. You know, a great team. Tulane's going there. Tulane got back on track with a win against Nichols, which I said would happen. You know, Nichols came off a win 2 weeks ago against Kansas. This is going to be a tough game. If Willie Fritz is able to move the ball like he did against Nichols, he has a great chance of winning this game. And he has to move the ball. He has no choices. You know, the offense cannot be stagnant, can't be stale, can't be predictive. Jonathan Banks got to be accurate when throwing the ball. I'm gonna go Tulane in this one. Tulane in a very close game. Tulane gets to win on the road. University of Washington at Utah. I believe this is gonna be another tough ball game between two good teams. An undefeated Utah team and a 1-1 Washington. Washington must run the tables the rest of the way in order for them to have a chance to make the college football playoffs. Washington is only allowing 12 points a game, and Utah is allowing only 8 points a game. But Washington has played this tougher competition as they played Auburn. They lost 21-16, and Washington has played University of North Dakota, whereas Utah has played Weber State in Northern Illinois. So I give the edge in tougher competition so far to Washington. Washington is allowing 341 yards a game, which is not bad. Utah is allowing 143.5. But look at the competition they have played. Utah is scoring 29 points a game. Washington scoring 30. Utah is getting their chance at a first big time. They're getting their first chance at a big time opponent here, and I don't see Utah winning this game. I think Utah will give them a tough fight come the fourth quarter, too much Jake Browning, too much on the other side of the football field, too much Washington. Washington gets this game on the road. Washington will defeat Utah. You know, Washington had their first games against Auburn. They already got punched in the mouth. They bounced back by getting punched in the mouth, but Auburn bounced back and won the game. You know, they showed resiliency against Auburn. They've been there already. Utah hasn't been there yet this year with Northern Illinois and Weber State. So this experience that Washington has already been through, playing a top 10 team early in the year, this is the difference that will help them win. So Washington on the road, again, will defeat the Utah Utes. I got Washington. USC at Texas. I tell you what, man, I was supposed to be going to this game, and then things fell through, and it didn't happen. But that's okay. I'll make sure I catch it on TV. Tell you what, man, Texas, a bounce back win against Tulsa. Tulsa had a lot of opportunities to score early. You know, they got to the red zone a few times and just couldn't get the ball in the end zone, and, you know, not kicking field goals. And then late in the game, they had a little comeback, but wasn't enough as Tulsa fell to Texas 28-21. USC just wasn't enough to stop Stanford University. We saw Bryce Love bounce back from the first game he had, 29 yards in his first game. Bryce Love bounced back and had a good game against USC as the Stanford Cardinals had defeated the USC Trojans. So, in this game here, a lot of people have Texas picked to win. This is very odd to me, very strange. Texas is picked to beat USC. I'm looking at it on the match predictor on ESPN.com right now, and 56% of the people who have voted have Texas defeating USC. Ellinger has threw for 500 yards so far this year with 4 touchdowns. Watson's the leading rusher with 126 yards rushing, and Humphrey's the leading receiver for Texas with 191 yards. St. Brown for USC with 137 yards. Ware's the leading rusher with 159. And of course, JT Daniels with 497 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Tell you what, USC is only allowing 23 points a game. Texas allowing almost 29. Yards allowed just about even. USC allowing 373. Texas allowing 380. Total yards that they're gaining almost even. USC 416. Texas 441. Passing is the exact same. 250 passing yards. They both are getting a game. Rushing 191 to 166 in the edge of Texas. So far, USC has played Stanford and UNLV, with Texas playing Tulsa and Maryland. I give the opponent's edge so far to USC, especially playing top 10 Stanford. Texas only playing Tulsa and Maryland with a loss to Maryland. USC to me has an edge in tougher competition. Texas is a hard place to play. And I tell you what, you know, on both sides of the ball, you're not proving that quarterback with Ellenberger and Ellinger and JT Daniels. They're not proven to be all-time great quarterbacks. They are the quarterbacks for their teams, but they're not like we're going to speak of, you know, a Kyler Murray or Tua Tagovailoa, even Haskins at Ohio State, or Will Grier, Drew Lock. They're not mentioned like those guys, you know, like a Vince Young or any other USC quarterback, Sam Darnold, for instance. So you don't have a real proven quarterback, but somebody got to take that extra step this game to get the win. Because according to stats wise, you're even. But like I said, I give USC the edge in tougher competition with the top 10 game against Stanford last week. You know, last year was a tough game between the two. A very, very tough game. And it came down to the wire with USC winning at home. I think it might come to the wire again, but I'm giving the edge to USC. USC is going 2-1 in this game. JT Daniels, I think, will step up and be able to throw the ball. Don't think he'll throw Chris Boyd's way a lot. Chris Boyd, to me, one of the most underrated cornerbacks in the nation. I think he's a real good corner. Not getting a lot of love, in the publicized magazines like Phil Steele. He's ranked like in the 30s, I believe, or high 20s. I like Chris Boyd. I think he's a good corner. But with that being said, I still have the USC Trojans getting the win over the Texas Longhorns. Houston at Texas Tech. Man, Coach Kevin Sumlin returned to his, I believe, his first head coaching job when he was the coach of Houston, where he did a marvelous job. Plus, he had Case Keenum, and that led him to go to A&M. Now he's at Arizona. Houston right now, big win against Arizona, who was coached by Kevin Sumlin. Big win. And now they have Texas Tech, and, I'm not too fond of Texas Tech. I'm not. Cliff Kingsbury can have all the offense he wants, but he doesn't have a defense that can hang with the other schools. And I said that in week 1 when they played Ole Miss. I said Ole Miss would beat them because he does not have a defense that can hold up against other teams. And that is what has been shown so far. Both schools are putting up points galore. It shows Texas Tech is only allowing 23.5 points a game. You would think that's great, right? You'd think that's great. But they played Lamar last week, and they beat them 77-0. We're talking Lamar, people. Okay? Let's go back to when they played Ole Miss. Guess what? They lost 47-27. Right? So that's why they're only allowing 23.5 points a game. They played a Lamar team that didn't score. Okay? Houston, they played the rivals Rice, beat them 45-27, and then they played Arizona, beat them 45-18. Okay? So it says Houston is allowing more yards per game than Texas Tech. Okay? Eventually, somewhere in there, the backups did get in and play. So that happened. Other than that, I'm going Houston all the way. I just don't see the Red Raiders defeating the Houston Cougars, and the Red Raiders are picked to win this. Maybe because they're at home. I'm going the other way. Like I'm reading it right here. Matchup predict on ESPN.com. 76.6% Texas Tech picked to win. I'm going the other way. I am going Houston Cougars to go 3-0 to beat the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Like I said, I'm just not sold on the defense for Cliff Kingsbury. I'm sorry. I just don't see it happening. I'm going Houston all the way, everybody. Houston Cougars. Boise State at Oklahoma State. Boise and Oklahoma State. 2 ranked teams. 17 Boise State. Oklahoma State is 24. I think you're going to have a close ball game with this one. Be honest with you. Quarterbacks are throwing the ball down the field, getting a lot of yardage just in 2 weeks of playing. Cornelius for Oklahoma State has already 728 yards passing with 6 touchdowns. Rippin for Boise State already has 667 yards. They are throwing the ball down the field. You might get the scoreboard. It's gonna get lit up. I should say. I'm sorry. It's gonna be lit up. Boise State scoring almost 60 points a game. Same for Oklahoma State. Allowing pretty much almost the same in points a game. Boise in 13.5. Oklahoma State and 15. Over 600 total yards. They are both gaining, and they are allowing under 300 yards a game. Boise State went to Troy and won, and played UConn and won big. Oklahoma State, a big win against South Alabama, and a big win against Missouri State. If you're going toughness to schedule right now, I guess you give it to Boise State. But with that being said, this is going to be, in my opinion, a close ball game. close ball game, and it's not easy to win at Oklahoma State. It's not easy to win there, so it'll be a tough game for Boise to get. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Oklahoma State Cowboys to win a close one against the Boise State Broncos. I have Oklahoma State. Ohio State, TCU, number 4 versus number 16. We've seen Ohio State 2 weeks in a row, and they look magnificent. But I said this is their first big test. They're going to have to play at least just as equal or almost equal to them. What I mean by at least equal to them, you know, Ohio State get a lot of 5-star, 4-stars. TCU gets some 4 stars and some 3 stars, and maybe some even 5 stars they have gotten. So that's what I mean. The level of competition will be much closer than what Ohio State has been playing. But with that being said, that Ohio State offense to me and defense, oh man, that is athletes galore, talent galore. TCU got talent too, and they got athletes, don't get me wrong. But seeing Ohio State on TV and seeing them in person with Haskins at quarterback, and then you got Dobbins and Weber at running back, McLaurin as one of your wide receivers, Bosa on defense, and I can go on, but I'll keep it there. They look unstoppable. Being honest, Ohio State looks unstoppable. I'm not saying yet they could beat Alabama or Clemson. I'm not saying that. But they're on the upper echelon with Clemson and Alabama right now. They are there. And, I mean, just to say, you know, they're scoring 64.5 points a game. TCU is scoring 49. 650 yards for Ohio State. Yes, I know it was Rutgers and Oregon State. I know that. Defense is under 270 yards. TCU under 215 yards. And TCU last 2 games were Southern and SMU. Rutgers and Oregon State. And, I mean, I think TCU will give them a ball game in the first half. But I think after that, Ohio State going to start to take off slowly. They're going to take off slowly. It's going to be too much in Jerry's world. Weber and Haskins just a little bit too much. I'm going Ohio State in this one. Ohio State defeats TCU in Arlington, Texas on Saturday night. Alabama, Ole Miss. I tell you what, we've seen a lot of craziness with these two teams in the past couple years, you know. Ole Miss winning in Alabama and Ole Miss winning the year before that at their field, you know, knocking the field goal down and people taking the field goal home and sharing it and all that good stuff. Craziness. Alabama is predicted to win this game. Yes, they are, and they should be. But I tell you what. Past couple years, and some of y'all can call me crazy, Alabama DBs has been the weakest link on that defense. Weakest link. You give a quarterback time to throw. It's a little bit time to throw. You protect him for a little bit. The quarterback can connect. Act Deshaun Watson. Bo Wallace. Okay? Jarrett Stidham from last year. That's been their weakest link. They're DBs. So if you give your quarterback time to throw, they're going to make things happen. And when you got, to me, the best receiving core in the nation, you can make things happen. I mean, man. A.J. Brown, to me, best receiver in the nation. And with everybody else he has around him, Ole Miss should be able to get yards, make plays happen with these receivers. With that being said, Alabama offense, with Tagovailoa at quarterback, and his receivers, Judy, Smith, Ruggs, who are almost just as good as Ole Miss receivers, they can make plays happen. And then Damian Harris, Najee Harris, Jacobs, the running backs galore. Okay? And, Bama always got a good front seven, good D-line. They got to get pressure on Tamu. This is the difference. And at the end of the day, I'm still going to roll Tide with the win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be closer than what you expect. Maybe Bama by 13, 14. I give it that much. I think it'll be a great game. I think Ole Miss receivers going to do some damage, but I think Nick Saban and them going to figure it out in the second half, and they'll get this win. And at Ole Miss, they'll get this win. Okay, Alabama's going to be listed a little bit too much later in the game. Okay, a little bit too much later in the game. But I think it'll be a great game. I got the Tide winning. And then, last game to get into, LSU and Auburn. Another series where we've had craziness. I mean, we had earthquake game. We got Les Miles going forward on 3rd and 1 and just need to kick a field goal to win the game. He throwing a touchdown to Demetrius Byrd. We got last year Auburn, expected to win big, up by 20, and then let LSU come back and win when that shouldn't have happened. You've had Cam Newton outrun Patrick Peterson for touchdowns. This series has always been something crazy also. Auburn expected to win. Looking at it right here, 75% of the people predicts Auburn. Rightfully so. Totally understand. Jarrett Stidham has thrown for 386 yards right now so far. Whitlow rushed for 150. And then you got Davis, leading receiver, at 86 yards. Jefferson for LSU, same with 86 yards. He's the leading receiver for LSU. Brissett, 262 yards so far rushing. And Burrow has thrown for 291 yards. So, what's the key to the game? Can LSU defense stop Auburn's offense? Can LSU offense get yardage, make plays on Auburn's defense? That's your two things right there, because they both are great defenses. They both have great defenses. And we know Auburn has a good offense. Okay? We saw what LSU did against Miami. All right? Everybody said LSU looked great. I said they won. In 2 weeks, we'll see what they're really made of. If LSU gets this win against Auburn, then we can start talking about LSU, in my opinion, being a real deal to compete in the SEC. I'm not sold yet with the win on Miami. I'm just not. But we'll know this Saturday, come 6 o'clock, when the time runs out, if LSU is the real deal. LSU has played, of course, Miami and Southeastern, with Auburn playing Washington and Alabama State. Okay? Auburn has outgained LSU in total yards by more than 175. Okay? They're throwing the ball more, 60 more yards than LSU, and even rushing a whole 118 more. Yards allowed, LSU right under 300 with 298, Auburn at 301. I think you're going to see a good defensive game, but at the end of the day, Dave Aranda got to have a great game plan to stop that offense. Okay? Same for Auburn. They got a great game plan to stop LSU's offense, which I think they will. I think they're going to stop LSU offense. And I think Auburn's LSU's offense got to put a game plan together to get through that Auburn defense. And it's not going to be easy. And at the end of the day, the Auburn Tigers will get the win over the LSU Tigers. Auburn Tigers with the win, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good defensive ball game. But when it's all said and done, the team with the better offense eventually is going to have to score points. And that's going to be the Auburn Tigers. That's just that simple. I'm sorry. Me being a Louisiana citizen my whole life. But like I said, when I do this, I'm going to call it right down the middle. And Auburn Tigers going to be too much at the end. Close ball game. This series has been crazy, like I said. But the Auburn Tigers will get the win. Alright. That's all I have for this week. I'll be back next week for week 4. Alright, please subscribe. Please look at the videos. Share it, retweet it on Twitter if you want to. It's up to y'all. But those who've been watching, I thank y'all so much. Like I said, I love college football. I do this for fun. Till next week. Peace.